But really, AJ Brown, the bigger thing here, he looked fantastic. And he looks like a dominant wide receiver. He's still very young. I know he has injury concerns, but I am so high on AJ Brown's future. And I kind of wanted to talk about AJ Brown from a dynasty context real fast. I know we have our Justin Jeffersons and Jamar Chases of the world who kind of separate themselves there in their own tier, but AJ Brown, I think he could be considered as the third wide receiver that you draft. If you're doing a dynasty startup today, the third wide receiver off the board right now could be AJ Brown. Do you think that's crazy?
I don't think it's crazy. He's not my third wide receiver, but it's not crazy. I actually have a couple guys ahead of him, and unfortunately, it's due to this offense. I know dynasty is a long-term game, but we're looking at 2 to 3 years, and I don't see this offense switching to a pass-first offense anytime in the near future. I'll take guys like CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill over him in dynasty formats right now. I think all three of those guys I've got ahead of him, and there's a couple more names as well that AJ Brown is just about tied with, right? Like we're talking about the Terry McLaurin's, DJ Moore's. Those are the kind of names that I have. Cooper Kupp even have like in the same tier as AJ Brown, but the ones that are clearly ahead of him in my mind are CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, which according to this trade chart right here, apparently I'm right in line with public consensus on that.
So real fast, JL, what do you think about this? Do you think AJ Brown could be considered the third wide receiver off the board?
Absolutely. I think going into this season, I think AJ Brown was in the conversation for the top three, right? He was
number
one. Yeah. Again, I think that this is a situation where we see, AJ Brown got injured a lot. He just wasn't performing as much, and people just instantly take that and are like, all right, well, he's now done, or he's now, he's no longer what he was. And we see that's not the case. He came back, he played fantastic yesterday. Devontae Adams is the interesting part here. I feel like typically high on Devontae Adams compared to, among us three here. But
like from a dynasty perspective,
right? He's older than AJ Brown. Pretty much everyone here in that group there, that cluster. The thing that's interesting about Devontae Adams is he might not be in Green Bay, or they might franchise tag him, and Aaron Rodgers might not be there next season. And that uncertainty makes a big difference here. I think I would potentially take AJ Brown because of that uncertainty. It might just be enough to put him above Devontae Adams for me.
I am under the impression that, from my understanding, from what I've read, the Packers are going to have a hard time affording franchise tagging Devontae Adams. Like, that's going to be a very expensive franchise tag for them. Even if the goal is to get him off the team, like, they're going to have a hard time even doing that to trade him and fitting under the salary cap. So I think Devontae Adams is a free agent. And if Aaron Rodgers is being traded and Devontae Adams is a free agent, I'm under the assumption, more likely than not, that they're on the same team next year, whether it's the Packers or a different team. I think wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, Devontae Adams goes as well, because he'll likely be a free agent, not looking to be traded.
It does kind of feel like they're a package deal.
It does,
right?
I don't think Denver can bring in both of those guys.
It would be weird
if they are a package deal, like we're saying. If they have to be together, then I don't think
Denver doesn't make sense. Vegas makes sense. Vegas makes a lot of sense. The Raiders, if they're moving on from Derek Carr, Rodgers and Adams, the Raiders.
It's going to depend on who they bring in.
My question is, what do they do first? Are they going to make sure Aaron Rodgers is a locked-in deal before they get rid of Derek Carr? Because what if they're like, we're going to go after Aaron Rodgers and they don't get him? They're going to be that would be such a bad move, right?
That would, yeah. And you had this quote from Aaron Rodgers yesterday. I just pulled it up here. It's so many guys' contracts are up or on the brink. Lots of decisions to be made. I don't want to be part of a rebuild if I'm going to keep playing. Talking about whether he's going to be back with the Packers. So it's very
honestly,
interesting.
Rodgers on the Raiders would be. They have a pretty good defense. They have pieces that you just add in an elite wide receiver and an elite quarterback. You could see them taking the next step. They made the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
absolutely. But that's why I have Devontae Adams still a little bit ahead of AJ Brown. I know there's some narrative in there, some speculation, but those are the names. And I pulled up my dynasty rankings just because I was curious. I knew I had AJ Brown in a tier with some of these other guys, but the tier I have him in, it's a decently sized tier, and it's after those top three for me: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. It's Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, and AJ Brown. And that is the tier 2 of dynasty wide receivers for me. You could change that order and I would have no issue with it if AJ Brown was that guy at the top of that tier.